Hey folks, how's everyone doing this evening? I just thought I'd jump on quick and do a real quick rundown after FOMC on Wednesday. We're pretty early early London Open here, so I thought I'd just kind of discuss something that I had seen and see if we can look for something here for the rest of the week. And a couple other items that I thought I would discuss as well. And here we go. So, anyways, let's start with the US dollar. Let's leave this on here. Start with the US dollar here. As you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. As you can see, price came down. I was actually hoping that price would have swept these lows. I'm going to get rid of that. Bring this guy up here. See those three relatively equal lows right there? I was hoping price would have swept down below and reached into at least the 94.65 level. I was just looking for a 5 to 10 pip sweep on that. I would have even taken a 1 pip sweep on that to be happy, but unfortunately we didn't get that. And I had another chart up here. If you bear with me for 1 second, here it is here. So I'm just kind of thinking, I have some guys in my group that have a different price than I do on this, and their charts actually show price had come down and swept below these lows here and actually tagged off of this old high here. And that's exactly what I was looking. And I think the only difference would be just the future price versus the cash price. And because if you see here, if you run over to bar chart, for instance, barchart.com, you can see the same thing happened here. Price came down, created 1, 2, 3 lows, but failed to get lower than these 1, 2, 3 lows in here, and certainly didn't rebound off the top of these old highs, which I was looking for. So unfortunately, a little bit of a discrepancy there, but what I'm hoping that we're going to see moving forward here was that the news event from today from FOMC was the catalyst that is going to move this thing back up again. And I'm just going to drop down into a 15-minute, you know what, actually give me a 5-day. 5-day chart. So you can see the US dollar had been dropping nicely. Started to kind of create a bit of a base in here. And this was FOMC news release today that had stopped sweeping down, briefly ran up, created a couple of equal highs in here, and then slammed back down one more time. This was very, very late in the day. This was 2 p.m. New York time. So late day runner, late day news announcement. You can see what price did. Came down, slammed back into this old consolidation level in here, rejected immediately, traded softer one more time, and then basically stayed right in the middle of the range on the day. But then you can see in here as it opened up, it gapped open, and then it just hasn't stopped since then. Now, we have come back up and trade. Here, let me get rid of this chart here. It's a little easier to do this commentary on this chart here. So now you can see we've come back, and now we're slamming back into this consolidation range in here. What I'm looking for, I'm looking for, honestly, okay, let me see if I can't get my thoughts in order here. So going forward, I believe that what we're going to see here is higher prices longer term on the US dollar. If anybody follows any of the news or any of the political stuff going on, Trump is making a real case to get the US dollar stronger. And obviously all the trade wars and everything else are causing havoc, but the FOMC is, they have promised their they have promised to increase the interest rate for the US dollar, and I believe there's 2 more scheduled for the end of this year. So we could see, price start to, maybe not run this high immediately here, but come, October, November, when they plan on doing those rate hikes, I think we will see price starting to slam up into those ranges for sure. But in the meantime, I think what we're going to do, so what I'm trying to say is long term, I think we're going to be bullish on the US dollar. Short term, what I'd like to see, I like this nice aggressive expansion out of here after FOMC. great to see after this nice slide. And ultimately, I want to see this range get taken out. So actually, if I come in here and I just did something real quick, and I'm going to take the top of this candle here, bottom of that candle. I'm not really suggesting that these guys are, you know what, I don't like that. I'm going to go down here. Go to 15 minutes, zoom in a little bit. Okay, so you can see what price did. I'm looking at this consolidation level, and price ran up right to the 50%. And you see that right there, the 50% level, right over here, of this consolidation level in here. And so far has rejected. So I like to see that. And the reason I like to see that is because price has left a bit of a gap down here. Now, I don't necessarily know that they're going to fill this gap. Price has exploded and expanded up so aggressively, and this is, just keep this in mind, this was at open, so markets had closed, and then this is the new day that has started right here, and you can see that the candle, ever since that new candle opened up, it hasn't looked back. But I like how price had come up aggressively into that 50% range of this and has rejected. I'd like to see price come back down and recapitalize. It may not get all the way down to fill this gap up, but for sure I'd love to see it come in and take out these old highs in here and just basically retrade off of those old highs in there is sort of what I'd be looking at. And one second, guys, I just got to close my email. I got a bunch of notices coming in here. That's driving me crazy. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And then from there, I want to see an aggressive bounce higher again. We may not get this. We may not get this pullback. So what I'm looking for into London is basically any pullback in here. If price gets down to this small, see this 3 candle, 1, 2, 3, 4 candle consolidation right in here. If we can get back to this level in here, but we don't show any real willingness to continue lower, then I'll assume that that's going to be the low, and then we'll probably push this up. But I'm expecting aggressive expansion moving higher. I think price rammed up in this 50% range only to, I don't know what the words would be, basically, showcase, kind of telegraph sort of where price is ultimately going to head. And I think if it does trade a bit softer, we'll get a bit of a retracement. I don't think a big one. We could even line up here. You see this candle right in here. We could even just come back to this guy right here, maybe even the top. See how these 3 candles are lining up? The wick on this guy here, which comes in, high comes in at 95.20. The close on this guy comes in at 95.20, and the open of this candle here should be 95.20. If I could get that to come up, I can't. And you can see at the bottom on my status bar, open 95.20. So that's a nice level of confluence in there as well. You've got this candle right in here, same thing, 95.20. You can see it there. We may get a return back down to that level. I kind of like that level. Some nice confluence in there. So we could see a move back down to there. So we may not get this deep retracement that I'm looking for here, but I do think they'll probably sweep the lows underneath here briefly, and I'd be looking for 95.20. Now, what they could also do is just chop it sideways here until, I don't know, what is it, 12:45 a.m. New York time right now. They could just chop it sideways until about 2 or 3 in the morning, and 4 in the morning, and then and really not make any dive below, and then just start aggressively running it higher. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I like this rejection in here. It kind of leads me to believe that they're willing to trade into this consolidation area, and they may want to come back down to recapitalize some longs down here briefly before they start running the market. And I'm going to be looking for swings above this high, and then swing grades up into this consolidation area up in here. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to get rid of this guy here. If you understand what I'm saying there. And if you look at, did that wrong way. at this grade here, from this low to this high. That was also a nice symmetrical swing as well, right at the tops of those candles. So this consolidation range that price had put in on Wednesday's trading pre-FOMC expanded out nicely so far, and we've been done 100% full range of this consolidation range up to here thus far. Now projecting out again, I'm looking at this high here, and then you see this 423 level up here. Not a whole lot of significance there, but it brings it up into the bottom bodies of this small consolidation range in here. So that's what I'm looking for, guys, coming for the rest of the week. I'm looking for an aggressive push higher on the US dollar into Thursday's trading, and then Friday to cap out the range. So I don't think we're going to get higher than this range here on Friday. I could be wrong. I mean, price could just skyrocket. I doubt it. I think we'll probably get a nice steady movement higher, and then trade into next week, and we could see, and then, you know, going forward to finish off the month, I'm kind of looking at price finishing somewhere up and around here. And if we do a fib flow to high here, that would bring us, you know, if we finish off the end of the month somewhere right around this 72 to 79% level in here, I think that would be a nice completed range for the month. So anyway, that's kind of what my thoughts are on the US dollar. And in terms of setups, there could be a few of them on the horizon here for this week. So we had a lot of opportunity Monday, Tuesday trading. Didn't take any trades or really look at anything other than crude oil for Wednesday, personally. And but Monday, obviously, you could see lots of areas to catch nice longs in here. Came back down, retested middle of the range from previous week, expanded up, and then this range in here was really a sideways day pretty much until late New York, and then price came back down to this small consolidation range in here and just exploded off of there. Great area for a long on 100 pips there. So what I'd like to see moving forward, if we do get this slight retracement back down here on US dollar, I'd like to see if we could get the euro to do the same type of thing, reverse back up, and you see these lows right in here. That would be where I would target some areas to get short in, and that comes in at about 115.80. Nice round number. I would even maybe, yeah, I'd consider that right about there. If price got any higher than, see this little tiny consolidation range in here, if price wanted to trade any higher than there, or even trade up higher than the lows of these candles, I'd be a little bit cautious as to that. Pretty tight range. You know, I might give it a little bit of flexibility just because it's only 15 pips. But I probably wouldn't want to see price, I mean, 116.05. If we're trading up into that region in there, then this could, whoops, then this could have just been a false move lower, and we may not see lower prices to come on the euro. So that would kind of be my line in the sand. That's only about 25 pips away, so not a terrible idea. Now, in terms of a range, so let's say we got an entry here at 115.80. My target on the week, this area down here, so this was Monday's open. I'd be looking to see if it wants to challenge Monday's open again. We may not get it that deep, but if we did, you know, that would be a, you know, for all intents and purposes, about 130, 140 pip range. So that would be a nice haul for a Thursday movement and intraday trade, and that's kind of what I'd be looking for here. For sure, them to sweep out these lows in here. And again, if there's any hesitation to get through this consolidation range in here at all, then just be wary of that. So I want to real briefly just show you something. Going into Thursday, do you see all this right here? this is going to fluctuate price a little bit. There's definitely some news events happening on Thursday that you should be aware of, especially for the euro. So just keep that in mind. It may not trade super fluid, as fluid as you'd like. It could get a little squirrely and a little bit jumpy, and that's why I think it could project back higher up into this range in here. There could be a news event that just sort of jacks it up quick, and then it continues to fall down. If the US dollar is continuing to run higher, I would expect the Euro USD to follow suit and to continue to run lower into the rest of the week. So that's kind of the idea that I'm looking at anyway moving forward. I'll be checking for that, and then again, I wouldn't allow price it to run any higher than 116.05 in my opinion. And I kind of like this area right down in here. We may not get that deep of a run right off the bat. It could take a little bit, but yeah, that'd be a nice range that I'd be looking down into at least. Hopefully, it would want to take out the open of the week, and we can look at that right now. See this here, the weekly candle. Let me get rid of this guy here, so it's not so much on the chart for you to look at. You see that the top of, and this was the top of last week's candle, bullish candle. I would be looking for this guy to come in here to get retagged down to finish off the week somewhere down in here. So this candle here would be just a big wick up into here, and hopefully a little bit of black showing right down in this area here. So that's sort of what I'm looking at for Euro USD. Now, again, right, this is all depending on the US dollar. As long as the US dollar doesn't want to come back down, if it comes down and closes the gap, I would not be expecting this to go any lower. So if you see US dollar start to trade down and we hit the gap, let me get rid of this guy here. So if US dollar is sitting here like this, let's say it trades sideways for the next hour or two, and then we start to get that push down, if we trade lower in here than this gap right in here, and we start challenging and start sweeping under these lows under here, then all bets are off. This thing will not be going any higher this week, and they're going to want to come down, and they're going to want to run these equal lows under here. And I'm just going to shoot a couple of markers under here so you can see what I'm talking about. Because as I mentioned, if you guys are just joining me right now, as I mentioned, the cash price here on US dollar did not sweep these lows that I had anticipated. It just jacked up straight from there. Now I do have other feeds that have price showing a sweep below and a retag off of this old high in here. And in my opinion, that's bullish. That's the move I was looking for, and that's the catalyst, and that's the pivot, and the swing, the next swing that should ensue is higher. So again, that's my quick opinion on US dollar. If we do break this area in here, just keep that in mind. We could want to swing down and run those lows again. So that would be about 95, 95 even. If I can get it even. Close enough. So, something to watch for. Pound dollar. I don't know if any of you caught my live session from Tuesday London Open, but I called this level here, this 129.20 level, to come up and get tagged into. And as you can see, price came in perfectly up into there. It actually, the high of it was 129.37. So about 17 pips higher than what I called. It's I was just looking really for a sweep above this high right here, whether it be 5, 10, 15, 20 pips, whatever it was. And this high came in at 129.11. So I was looking for anything from, call it 10 to 20 pips. It ended up being 27 pips, all said and done. 26 pips, so close enough in my book. And then price to roll over, and that's what you can see what's happened there. So again, same ideas as exact opposite of the US dollar. I'm looking for price to run down here as price is running higher in the US dollar. Now, with all of that Euro news, that I see happening here on, coming into Thursday, later London trading session, and then early into New York. Sorry, give me 1 second. I just want to... That's not showing me Monday for some reason. I just can't remember if... Here. There we go. Okay, I was sorry. I was just looking to see if there was pound sterling news on Monday. I didn't think there was, but there's a little bit here, and U.S. CAD, Euro, and U.S. dollar on Friday. So what I'm looking for is the pair between Euro USD and pound dollar. Which one's going to trade more fluidly? And this is pretty choppy price action in here, as you can see on Wednesday. Had a nice run up prior. Monday, Tuesday, nice run up. So they really released the cable earlier in this week. And not that the euro didn't get a nice release as well too, but they really moved this pair here. So I don't know. My thoughts are I'm kind of neutral between the two. I think I'd be a little more partial to the euro. Just because of all those news events, we might get a little bit of volatility, and we could see some price fluctuations and some swings a little bit deeper than anticipated, where the pound dollar may just start to run off without those fluctuations. So just watch it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'd be looking for something similar. If we could get price just to kind of move up into this area in here, 128. You could even call it 128.95. If I saw price start to move up into here, I wouldn't expect it to be running any higher. Again, same type of thing as the euro. Wouldn't be expecting it to run any higher than 129, 20. That's even pushing it, I think, in my opinion. That's a little bit more than what I would allow it. But if I got an entry somewhere in between 128.95 and 129 big figure, I would not, if price is going to roll over, I would be not interested in this at all if price were to trade back up into the 129.20 levels. Certainly not to take out those highs. You could give it a little bit more if you'd like to, but if it started to encroach on these highs here, wouldn't be interested at all in it. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. And then potential targets. Now here's the thing. This is what I'm looking at for target on the pound right here. See those two relatively equal lows? That in my mind would be a perfect target. And I'm going to label that at 128.10. And a potential 10 pip run below that for a stop run at 128 big figure. I like that number. I think that's easily doable going into Thursday if we do get a nice drop, and it could go even lower for sure. So what I would probably end up doing is if I entered a trade here, if I did get a favorable setup, I would come in and I would put a target 1 at about 30 pips lower than that, so about 65. As soon as price came down into that range, I would take a portion off of the trade. I'd take a third or half off of the trade, and then I would let price come down to here, move my stop to break even, of course, plus or minus, or sorry, break even plus a couple. And that way, if price does want to run back up to this level, you're not getting stopped out. You've captured your 30 pips, so away you go. And then I'd let price trickle down and see what it wants to do. See if it actually does want to take out these equal lows down here. I believe is going to be the target and on the menu for Thursday's trading. And then you still got 2/3 or half of your trade left on there, and you can let that ride. And then I'd take off another 2/3 of that trade right here, or 90% of the open trade. And then if there's a little bit left over, you could even see if they want to run down, because these are my targets for next week and down in here. Under those lows there, and then subsequently the rest of these guys in here. So that's where I'd be looking for pound ahead, moving on towards the end of the month. Let me just look at this monthly view for a second. See this 125.85 level I have on the chart? The old highs of these, this small consolidation level in here, and I shouldn't say small, this is a monthly chart that I'm on. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of straight sideways action, so it wasn't a small consolidation area, it was quite a large one. And I'm trying to get the high on this guy if I can. It may not give it to me. Oh, there it is there. 127.05. 127.05. I'm sorry, that gives me the high of that. I'm looking for the open. 125.73. So call it 125.75, which is basically where I've got 125. I've got this one at 125.85. I'm going to change this. 75. When price hits this level, I'm not going to be super bearish on cable. Unless the US dollar is incredibly bullish and just skyrocketing higher and challenging these guys up in here. As soon as price gets down to there, if it does get down to there, I'm not going to be too bearish anymore, because I'd be looking for price to bounce at that level, personally. So just kind of keep that one in mind going forward. Yeah, I definitely like these equal lows here getting run out for this week. But anyway, so that's kind of what my thoughts are on those two. Now, I just wanted to talk about real quick US CAD. This was another one that I was watching going into Thursday. Sorry, FOMC yesterday. And you can see here, I was looking for price to run this low in here by 10 pips. That came to 129.90. Actually came in a little bit lower than that at 129. Where'd that come in at here? Let me zoom this in. That came in, low came in at 129.86. So about 4 pips lower than what I was anticipating. Came in beautifully, and then just a perfect reaction right off of those levels. So again, late in the day after the FOMC news, beautiful move, 57 pips, and it just hasn't, you know, didn't look back. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours straight up movement. So some great ranges in there. Came in, cleared out the highs in here. Now, I'm not necessarily, if you guys didn't get in on this move here, I'm not necessarily looking to buy it right here. This thing could be, I'm sure you've probably all seen these little bull pennant things, or bull flag, I guess you could call it. You can see, and then obviously this is the pull. Typically when you see something like this, price continues to jack higher and keep running. I'd like to see a bit of a retrace, and I think that retrace level is that we could get is about this 130.25 level that I'm looking at, which coincidentally was the level that I was looking at earlier to see if they would hold. You see how they were holding this 125 level in here? You know, they went through it once or twice throughout Tuesday and Wednesday, but they were really holding price. Look at Tuesday and Wednesday's trading. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they are stacking orders up in here like crazy. I mean, this is not fluid price action. They're not moving price in one direction, just going straight sideways almost. They finally came down and swung lower, taking out the old lows, the old stops down in here, and then exploded price up. So I'm looking for a brief retracement down. We may not get it on CAD. CAD, I think, in my opinion, CAD I think is going to be pretty bullish. And I think what I think they were doing is I think they were buying up price in here, and then they finally released it in here. That's my opinion on it. I think this thing's got to start catching up with the U.S. dollar here fairly quickly, because the strength of Canadian economy isn't all that great. Like if you look at a Canadian futures contract, I mean it's not a very strong contract right now, and they are getting roadblocked a lot by the U.S. The U.S. is in a trade war right now with, I mean, I think all of the G7 nations right now, or G5 nations anyway. I mean, Eurozone, Canada, Mexico, obviously, Canada and Mexico with NAFTA. You know, China. I mean, they're just at war with everybody on the trading front, and so it's really hurting the Canadian dollar. But look what this dollar is doing. I mean, it's been, the price of this should be going the exact opposite way. It should be going the opposite way. Now the Canadian, the loonie has been raising the interest rates just a little bit, a couple basis points, 25 basis points, or sorry, a quarter point. And that could be lending to a little bit of weakness in this pair. But I think that's finally going to be exposed, and I think they're going to trade through this. I really do. I think we're going to see much, much higher prices. So same type of thing. If you can get an entry somewhere around the 130.25 level going into Thursday, I would be. I'm hoping they're going to take out these highs at the end of the week. That's my goal for the Canadian dollar. I'd like to see them rip this thing and take that out. Now, if you go back to the economic calendar, there is some news coming up for the Canadian dollar. There was a lot of it today on Wednesday. Today. There was a lot of it yesterday. Early morning, retail sales numbers came out, and then obviously it didn't do anything, just price sat sideways until that FOMC news came out, and then they dropped it and then ripped it up, as you can see there. But going into Friday, there is Bank of Canada Governor Poles is speaking. So that is later in the day on, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong day. That's on Saturday. I apologize, guys. That is on Saturday. We've got Fed Chair Powell speaking on Friday is who it is. So they could, with that news, start to really run this price up. That's quite a ways away. I don't know that we're going to get that. You know, it's 150 pips, but we'll see what happens. When the Canadian dollar gets moving, it can really, really move. And, you know, case in point right here, I mean, that was it's a 120 pip move on the Canadian dollar. So from now until Friday's close, we could see that. But that's my target. If we don't get it this week, I think it'll definitely get hit sometime next week. But that's kind of what I'm looking at the U.S. CAD moving forward. So I'll be watching that, to see if we can get an entry down there, and go from there. Finally, crude oil. This thing did almost exactly what I said it was going to do today. The only thing it didn't do, so I was on doing a live session. No, I didn't do a live session. When did I do my last live session? It was Tuesday, London Open. So it's now Thursday, London Open. So Wednesday's trading, Tuesday. The price was down in here when I was discussing this. And what I wanted to see was this gap get filled. Did that beautifully. So they opened up the week. They opened up the week here, ran price up. Tuesday dropped out. Big gap. They traded up, filled that gap in, sunk price, and I was hoping for a little bit more of a run. You see how they left these equal lows here, and then in here? I was really hoping for a return back down to 65.10 area. Didn't quite get it on Tuesday. I would have been all over that on a buy on Tuesday with that, but didn't quite get it. Anyway, long story short, price filled the gap as anticipated, traded weaker, and just about off the old highs in here. It actually got off the old high right in here, and then price never looked back, and it's been screaming up higher since then. So going forward into the rest of the week, I'm looking above here. I'm looking at these targets up in here. First target, 68.80. Same type of deal, guys, as I was talking about with the Euro USD. Or sorry, was it the cable or the Euro? It was the cable. Take price off, take prices off in grades. Have a couple of targets, and do that with crude oil as well too. So target 1 right here, which is about $1.20 higher than current price, and sorry, $1 higher than current price, and then eventually I'd like to see them run above these highs in here, and ultimately I want to see them get priced back up into this area in here, from earlier in the month. From earlier in July. Prices, they've been really chopping sideways on crude oil. They finally released price. I'm looking for another big push up. Whether we get up into here or not, if we start to struggle and sputter out above these highs in here, I may not be so inclined to see this thing coming all the way up into here. Like, I don't think, going forward, I don't think the rest of the month, we're not going to get above here. We're not going to get back up to $75 on crude oil. That's not, I don't believe, in the cards for crude for this month. Maybe later on into the end of the year, we could start to challenge those. And just keep this in mind. There's still equal lows here and equal lows right here. So they could want to come back down for those. I don't know how likely it is, but you just keep that in mind, because there definitely are some areas right under here that I think they could come back down for. If we don't get a decent move off of there. So anyway, going forward for the rest of the week, 68.80, and then eventually these highs up here, which come in at 69.80. So there you go. So potential $2 move capping off the rest of the week. And just keep in mind, though, price already moved $2 today on Wednesday. Price was trading in here at $66. And the high came in at $68. So we've had a beautiful $2 move on crude oil on Wednesday. So just keep that in mind when you go to pick your swings on this thing. So anyway, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, throw them up in the chat. Going forward, as I say, I'm going to be back to regular sessions, more sessions. Dave is going to be back after Labor Day. He was originally gone for a little while on vacation, and elected he wanted to stay in vacation mode for the remainder of summer, which is good for him. Sometimes you need to get some time away from the charts, and really just just switch it off for a bit. Sometimes you get analysis paralysis. It's happened to me, happens to great traders. Not that I'm a great trader or anything like that, but I definitely get burnt out from these charts, and I just had a little mini vacation there last week as well too. So if you guys were sitting through that kind of early August up until earlier this week, I thank you for sticking around and holding off, because I know it my analysis and all my trading and everything was definitely on the sidelines for that time period. I really didn't do any work at all, and just gotta switch it off and unplug sometimes. So that's what I did. And anyway, that's what Dave's doing. He'll be back after Labor Day, full schedule again, Wednesdays and Fridays, and myself Tuesdays and Thursdays. And who knows, we might even get someone new in here and do some more analysis for you. Maybe do a few more New York Opens throughout the week. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, moving forward, I'm also going to change a few things up on the website, just so you guys know. If you're already a member with us, you won't see any interruption in your service or anything like that. But just so you know, if you are thinking about, hang on one second here, just bringing up my website. So this right here, guys, just so you're aware, I am removing this. This is no longer, this is an introductory thing that I wanted to run, basically up until the fall of this year. I'm going to take this off. It's going to be the same price. Nothing's going to change, $75 a month but there will not be a free look period anymore. I think there's been enough of that, and you'll still get access to all of the full membership benefits, of course, the trading room, the live sessions, and everything else. And just so you know as well, too, moving forward, these live sessions will only be available to our members as well. And so the YouTube free streaming in the public, maybe once or twice a week I might offer something. But all the main content with my other analysts, that will only be for our members only, and you'll have to pay to check that out. But I'm going to throw all those details up in here. Have a couple other options for you, and of course, starting in September, we are also starting our coaching, one-on-one coaching. So wherever you're at in your trading, if you've got some questions, if you've got some concerns, you need some tips, some tweaks, whatever it may be, even if you're just a brand new beginner looking at this and you want to get involved in the Forex markets, we can help you do that, and we'll walk you through what it takes to be a Forex trader and get you going off and running. So I'll have some stuff on the website to share with you for that. When I get that all launched and ready to go and updated, I will do another live session and explain that in detail for you, and go from there. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this session. I'm also, sorry, just real briefly, I'm also looking at a couple of commodities as well too, going forward into September. So I've got a couple of picks here. I'm going to start releasing those pretty soon and start watching them and updating my charts on them here as well. And as soon as I do that, I'll let you guys know. So you can look forward to that in the future as well. So anyway, thanks. Appreciate that, guys. Hope you have a great Thursday. Keep your trading light as well too, especially going into Friday. Keep in mind right here, just as an FYI, this could throw a little bit of volatility in the market, may not be too favorable, at that time. So just kind of keep an eye on that, and keep it light with Euro as well. This could fluctuate prices quite a bit, so you don't want to get whipsawed on any of this. Don't keep your stops super tight, and don't keep your don't leverage too much on it, obviously, in your demo account. Keep everything nice and light for the rest of the week. So with that, I'm going to escape, and we'll catch up to you guys. What day is Thursday? I might even do a session on Friday. We'll kind of see how things go. I will not be around tomorrow. I've got a busy day full of meetings tomorrow, so I'll be able to get on the charts every now and then to update our members on a couple of things that I'm looking at, but that's pretty much about it. So next live session, more than likely, will probably be next Tuesday, London Open. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch up to you then. Take care.